Hey Wildcats, today we're going to work on one-step equation notes. Go ahead and turn in your notebook to page 42, which is on the right side. Up at the top, if you'll title your page, One-Step Equation Notes, and make sure to click pause as we go if you need extra time. In order to solve one-step equations, you're going to have to isolate the variable. What does that mean to isolate the variable? Well, how would we do that? We're going to have to do the inverse operation. Now, when I think of the word inverse, I'm going to think of the opposite. And I'm going to want to make sure to do that to both sides of the equation, to be fair. If I do it to the right, I have to do it to the left, and vice versa. Some examples of the inverse is if I have addition, the opposite of addition would be subtraction. Whereas if I have subtraction, the inverse is going to be addition. What I'd like for you to do is to always keep the equation balanced. What that means is what you do to one side, you must also do to the other side too. Let's get ready to do some practice. Before we begin, I would like for you to take your paper and fold it in half. That way we know where the middle of the page is. With that said, draw a line all the way down. What we're going to do before we practice is we're going to have our problem on the left, and then we're always going to check it with substitution. Our first example, over on the right side, question number 1, if I have x plus 3 equals 4. Because my operation is addition, again we have to use the inverse operation. I'm going to do the inverse of addition, which is subtraction. All right, subtract 3 from the left. To keep it balanced, I've got to subtract 3 from the right. All right, doing so isolates my variable x. When I have plus 3 and minus 3, those actually cancel out. I can bring down the x, and x equals 4 minus 3 is 1. Before I'm sure that x equals 1, I'm going to come over to this side and check it by using substitution. Rewriting the problem, x plus 3 equals 4. Where I think the value of x is 1, I'm going to write 1 plus 3 equals 4. And I want to make sure 1 plus 3, that is 4, and 4 equals 4. So that solution works. Box in your answer so you don't lose it. Now we're going to try another one together. Our second problem is x plus 7 equals 5. Again, I want to identify what is my variable, x. In order to isolate it, I need to do the inverse operation of plus 7, which would be minus 7. If I do it to the left side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the right side of the equal sign. So I'm going to write minus 7. Plus 7 and minus 7 cancel out. I can bring down my x variable, and x equals 5 minus 7. I have more, so I'm going to say my number is definitely a negative. 7 minus 5 gives me 2, so I think my answer is x equals negative 2. I'm going to check that over to the right by plugging in my solution. Here I go, where I have x plus 7 equals 5, I'm going to take my solution negative 2. Negative 2 plus 7, does that equal 5? Well, negative 7 plus 2, 5 does equal 5, so I am correct. For number 3, we still have an addition problem, but now I'm working with the number negative 5. Looking at this, I still want to isolate my variable x, but how am I going to get rid of a negative 5? The opposite of negative 5 would be adding 5. If I add it to the left side of the equal sign, I have to make sure I add it to the right side of the equal sign. A negative 5 plus a positive 5 cancel out, leaving my variable all alone. X is now isolated. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. Remember, we want to take this solution and plug it in to make sure it works. Now I have 11 plus negative 5. Does that equal 6? Well, 11 minus 5 is 6, so 6 does equal 6. Great job. Let's try another one, but with subtraction. Now we have x minus 8 equals 6. Again, we want to isolate my variable x. It shows me my operation is minus 8. The inverse would be to add 8. If I do it to the left, I have to also do it to the right side of that equal sign. Minus 8 and plus 8 are going to cancel out. I can bring down my x, and x equals 6 plus 8 is 14. I'm going to take this answer, substitute it into my problem. 14 minus 8, does that equal 6? Yes, it does. Now you're going to try some of these problems on your own and check back for the solution.